Hello everyone, and thank you for the opportunity to contribute to this event today. I'm speaking as Director of Forus, a global network of national civil society platforms in over 70 countries, including Sloga, our partner in Slovenia. Altogether, Forus connects around 24,000 NGOs worldwide working to strengthen democratic participation, accountability, and sustainable development. We are living in a moment of profound global uncertainty. Across many regions, we're seeing rising geopolitical tensions, democratic institutions under pressure, shrinking trust in public institutions and in NGOs, and societies facing multiple overlapping crises, from climate change to growing inequalities. In times like these, the role of civil society becomes ever more important. Civil society organizations often act as a bridge between communities and governments, between local realities and international policy, and between citizens and the decisions that shape their lives. But for civil society to play that role effectively, one condition is paramount, and that's what we call an enabling environment for civil society. An enabling environment means that civil society organizations can operate safely, can access resources, can speak freely, and can meaningfully participate in shaping policies and decisions. And right now, protecting that environment is becoming one of the key challenges for democracy and for development. Globally, we're seeing increasing pressure on the conditions that allow civil society to operate. And this doesn't always happen through dramatic events. It more often happens gradually through administrative barriers, restrictions on funding, limitations on public participation, or digital regulations that affect how organizations communicate and organize. Sometimes it's a new law restricting funding for NGOs. Sometimes it's attacks or threats on activists or independent media. And increasingly, it's digital regulations that limit online participation and increase surveillance of civil society actors. Forus and its members track these developments in many countries across the world. Sometimes these changes might seem technical, but they have real consequences. If civil society cannot organize and cannot participate in decision-making, it becomes much harder to build inclusive policies, inclusive societies, and to hold institutions accountable. And civil society organizations bring things that governments often cannot. They bring close connections to communities, they bring local knowledge, solutions that are often best adapted to local needs, and the ability to hold institutions accountable. And the encouraging news is that the enabling environment is also sometimes improving. There are positive developments even in contexts where the broader enabling environment may still be uncertain or restricted. One example comes from Kenya. During the implementation of the Public Benefit Organizations Act, the government launched nationwide public participation forums to co-create the regulations governing civil society organizations. So there was a consultation process which shows that governments can help strengthening the enabling environment by treating civil society as a partner. Things are far from being perfect, but these are small steps into a more positive direction. Similarly, in Timor-Leste, a recently announced grant program will channel direct funding to local organizations for inclusive policy monitoring. So that's a more innovative approach that can ensure that civil society is effectively participating in policy monitoring and can have a say in those spaces. So what does it mean for looking ahead? Looking ahead, I think that we all can push and participate to support and strengthen and promote the enabling environment for civil society. For Slovenia, for example, this means that there is an opportunity to play a meaningful role in strengthening these conditions and the partnerships with civil society. There are different things that can make a practical difference. First, making participation systematic. Civil society should be part of policy conversations, not only when programs are being implemented, but well ahead of that, when priorities are starting to be defined, as well as when things are being evaluated. Participation, meaningful participation of civil society is absolutely essential to making sure that policies and programs are effective. Second, supporting the enabling environment throughout, both at home and abroad, and showing leadership in doing so. This means consistently supporting the rights and the freedoms of civil society and the conditions for them to operate in the most effective way possible. So that's in one's own partnerships, but also when engaging in with partner countries. And thirdly, another very essential thing that must be done is investing in local civil society leadership. Strong local organizations are absolutely vital for sustainable solutions, and that means providing long-term, more flexible funding, but also just entering more equal partnerships and really listening to civil society and treating them as peers. In conclusion, if we want stronger democracies and more effective development cooperation and more sustainable solution, then we need strong civil society and strong local civil society. Strong civil society depends on an enabling environment, one where people can organize, participate, and shape the future of their societies. And I am convinced that we ought to believe in and act for a more positive future, and that wherever we are, we have something to contribute to it. Thank you very much.